Hello everybody, welcome and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing on the best of one standard ranked ladder with our Zimone and Dina draw 2 list. So the theme of the deck, whenever we draw our second card each turn, target opponent loses 2 life and we gain 2 life. You can also couple that up with the Gixian Puppeteer who has that effect. And Z&D also has another ability where you can tap to sacrifice another creature and draw a card. You can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you control 8 or more lands, you can repeat the draw and landfall once. Mostly she's used as creature protection. If your opponent wants to point a removal spell at your Glissa or your Sheoldred, you can sack it to Z&D and draw in response. Jadar is also in the deck to give her free sacrifice fodder with his decayed zombies. It's a very good synergy there. Gixian Puppeteer, the second creature with the drain effect, also has the ability of when it dies, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it can reanimate a Z&D or a Glissa or a Gurgling Anointer, which is also another card that triggers off of drawing twice each turn. This one instead gets a +1/+1 counter, and it's a 1/3 with flying. And when it dies, you return another creature card with mana value less than or equal to its power from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if it dies as is, it can get back a sleeper. After an extra turn, it can get back a Fairy Mastermind, a Rona, or a Jadar. After another turn, it can get back a Glissa or a Z&D, and etc, etc. Fairy Mastermind is here to let us draw 2 on our opponent's turn very easily. Activating his ability after your opponent's drawn their first card through draw step lets you draw 2. So it's a 4 mana activate your Z&D, or 4 mana activate Z&D plus the Puppeteer, and you draw a card. So it's really powerful. You can also flash it out when your opponent's drawing off their Bank Buster or looting off Fables, so you can get a lot of surprise value off of this guy. Rona, Herald of Invasion, is a 2 mana 1/3. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, you can untap her, and she can tap to draw and discard, which is one of the main engines in this deck for fueling Z&D and the Puppeteer. You can also transform her for 5 and Phyrexian into a 5/5 trample, and whenever source deals damage to it, that source's controller exiles a card from their hand at random. If it's a land card, you can put it onto the field, otherwise you can cast it for free. So she's a really good card, lets us dig through our deck in the early game, and if she isn't dealt with, she can turn into a game-ending threat. Jadar is there, as I said earlier, for our Z&D food. And Evolved Sleeper is another small creature that can start the curve off early and end the game with drawing cards to trigger Z&D. We're going to run 2 cut downs, 3 go for the throats, and 3 invasions of Amonkhet as another way to draw an extra card on our turn and reanimate some of our key creatures like Z&D, Sheoldred, Puppeteers, or Glissas. Glissa, I forgot to mention, is of course in here because she's absolutely bonkers. 3 mana 3/3 first strike death touch, and whenever she hits your opponent, you can draw a card and lose a life, or destroy an enchantment, or remove 3 counters from a permanent. So she makes it easier to flip your invasions, plus she's there for enchantment removal and extra card draw to trigger Z&D and the Puppeteer. Some small notes if you guys are interested in playing this deck on the ladder. The Invasion of Amonkhet is a little bit more difficult than most it's a little bit more difficult to flip than most in this deck, since like one of our best creatures is a 3/4. This one removes 3 counters, so it's kind of important that you want to hit it once with an Evolved Sleeper or a Jadar or a Fairy Mastermind or an Anointer or something, just to make it a little bit easier to flip late game. The Puppeteers and Sheoldred can of course flip it in one hit, but you know, sometimes it'll make it easier for your 3 drops to flip it. Z&D and the Puppeteer, their ability, it triggers on the second card that you draw each turn, not the second card that they see you draw each turn. So say you have a Rona on the field and you cast Z&D, the trigger to untap her is going to go on the stack. Don't loot. If you loot, that's going to be your second card while the Z&D is still on the stack. It's not going to see it, it's not going to trigger. It'll resolve, you can untap your Rona, draw again, it's not going to drain. So just a couple quick notes if you guys were interested in playing the deck. If you guys are new here, my name is CVD MTG. I've been uploading daily on YouTube for the past 3 months or so now. Actually, I think it's like 3 months and 2 days, but I've definitely been playing some standard and uploading a lot. So if you guys are interested in some of these decks that I've been posting, make sure to subscribe as I post 7 days a week. And make sure to drop a like and leave a comment, as I'd really appreciate it. With all that said, let's hop onto the ladder and see how it does. Alrighty, game 1. Hand is really awkward. Like, we can't cast the Fairy Mastermind on 2, cut down on 1, but we can play Z&D on 3. If that sticks around, it unlocks the Mastermind. We'll keep it. Let's play our Glade, and we'll pass. The opponent's going to play a Swamp and a Duress. We draw Dark Slick Shores. Let's play it, and we'll pass. The opponent's going to play a Mountain and a Bank Buster. Alright, let's play the Fairy Mastermind, and back to us. Let's get Z&D on the field, and we'll attack for 2. The opponent's going to play a Graveyard Trespasser, and exile the Cut Down. The opponent's crewing up the Buster, cracking in for 4. Alright. Let's play our Coast, Sheoldred, and we're cracking in for 5. Opponent draws, and I guess they hit their Go for the Throat there. They go down to 11. Bloodfell Caves brings them back to 12. And in with the Trespasser. I think we just go for the Throat on the Trespasser. No reason to do it until their turn, though. Let's play Basayu. We're going to crack in for 5. And we'll pass. Opponent's going to play a Harvester. And opponent's going to crew up the Buster. Okay. We'll take 8. Let's go for the Cut Down on the Harvester. And they're gonna pitch their Atali, which is gonna trigger the Fairy Mastermind. We draw a Gixian Puppeteer. I think we're just gonna activate the Fairy Mastermind. Everyone's gonna draw, and we're gonna ping them. Let's play our Deathcap Glade, our Gixian Puppeteer, and we're going to attack for 2 in the air. Sack the Mastermind, draw. We'll put that on the field, and we'll kill our opponent. GG's. Alrighty, game 2. Only 2 lands, but we do have a Plaza, so we can get out Jadar and the Mastermind, and we can hold up the Go for the Throat, so I think we keep it. Let's play the Cascade, and we'll pass. Opponent's going to play Spara's Headquarters. Let's get Jadar down. We'll make our zombie and pass. The opponent plays a Plains and an Ossification on Jadar. Let's play the Shipwreck Marsh, and we'll pass. The opponent's going to play Jetmir's Garden and say go. Let's flash out the Fairy Mastermind. And they're going to Leyline Binding that. Okay. I would much rather they Leyline Binding that than the Sheoldred, so we'll take it. Let's play Shelly, and we'll pass. The opponent goes to 18 and plays their Plant Dinosaur. They grab a Swamp and pass. Let's crack in for 4. Let's play our Shores, and we'll get Glissa down. The opponent's going to draw and go to 12. And they're going to cast Zurgo and Ojutai. They're going to crack in for 4. Zurgo and Ojutai is definitely a cool card. So, wonder what they're grabbing. And they put them back in the hand. Let's play our Glade. So, if opponent doesn't have a way to kill Sheoldred during their draw, I think we can just kill them here. So if we attack everything, that's 9. We play the Gixian Puppeteer before combat. They take an extra 2 damage when we draw from Glissa. We pass, and they die on upkeep. Let's go for it. We'll draw. And we'll pass. The opponent's going to discard a Herd Migration to stay alive. Okay. That is a way to do it. So they're going to go to 2. And they're going to flash out a Leyline Binding to take care of Sheoldred. Okay. And they're going to play another Plant Dinosaur. Gonna search up a land. And these guys can block now. I'll take it. And there's no stick, so I don't think opponent has any instant speed interaction. Let's take out a Dino. Ooh, we draw Z and D. We can play her, crack in for 7, draw an extra card, drain for 4. GG's. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.